I don't see it, especially not in light of this ayah. What we should do in this understanding the lessons from the story is really analyze every character and what role they're playing with the clues that Allah has given us, with the position that Allah has given us. His motivations for saying this are clearly political to me. There's no other way to look at them. Any other way of looking at them is, you could say there's an opinion that it's this way or this way, but if you put yourself in that position and you're in that hallway, you're among the servants, and you're seeing this happening, as you walk away, you're going to say, he's a really gracious person. No, you're going to say, he's a good politician. Wow, he's good. Look at how he squashed that entire thing. Man, if I found out that happened in my family, there would have been a murder case. There would have been this or that. That's what people are talking in the kitchen. Those are the conversations that are happening. They're not saying, but this shows that he is really quite generous with, or he has made a wise statement about all women. No, he hasn't. That's just not the case, So هذا من إنه من كيدكن. Certainly it is from the kind of scheming you women do. إن كيدكن عظيم. Your scheming is great. And by the way, that also means that this is not the only kind of scheme. There are lots of different kinds of schemes. So just like her scheme is about to get him in trouble, and it's pretty powerful, she's got friends who she calls friends, but they're not really her friends. They're going to start a scheme of their own. And by the way, up until now, her husband, we saw the word Sayyidaha, the man of the house, her leader, if you will, her husband. We saw Alladhi ishtarahu min Misra, the one who bought him from Egypt. That's the word that was used for him. And Innahu Rabbi ahsana mathwaya, if you want to interpret it that way, master, that's another word that's been used for him. But the actual word minister, Al-Aziz, hasn't been used yet. He hasn't been described as the minister yet. And the first time we're going to see the word minister is actually going to be tomorrow when we study the 30th ayah, when women use that word. Not the wife, not Yusuf, not Allah Azza wa Jal. From his perspective, Allah will describe the women of the city talking about the wife of the minister. And that's going to have a strategic role. Why is he being introduced as the minister at that point in the story? And what does that have to do? And what scheming are they going to do? And Allah will describe their words as a scheme too, actually. So there's, we're learning, some dimensions of psychology, some dimensions of, family dynamics, things like jealousy, things like infidelity, things like emotional fulfillment, things like the scheming of the devil. We're also learning things like sociology, different levels of society, right? And how different levels of people operate. We're learning some things about politics. And these people, people in politics, they may be powerful in some ways, right? They may have wealth. They may have influence. They may have the ability to make policy. They may have the ability to get somebody thrown in jail and throw away the key and never give them a trial. That's going to happen, right? So they can have these kinds of powers. But one place that's their weakness? Reputation. The weak link for them is if somebody finds out the truth of what I really am. That if somebody finds out what really goes on behind closed doors, then everything I've built is going to fall apart. In election campaigns, when you're going after a certain candidate, you don't go after his policies. You don't go after what he stands for. What's the most effective way to go after a politician? Their personal life. A scandal involving them. Something, some kind of character assassination. That's the way to go. That means they're done for good. You got them good. If you can question their integrity, well, then they have no business serving the public. That's just how politics works. And then other politicians, this is the fun part, other politicians, even if they know that the scandal is false,